A delightful good morning to you all. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. With this quote of Nelson Mandela, we welcome you all to the Civilspedia's daily current affairs analysis for the day of 8th of October, brought to you by ShankarIASAcademy. And we also kindly request you to kindly subscribe to the ShankarIASAcademy YouTube channel and don't forget to click the bell icon for receiving on-time notification. And here are the list of topics taken for today's discussion. And the first topic is about the Nobel Prize, which was awarded in the field of physiology and medicine. And the second topic is about the Memorandum of Understanding, which is recently being signed between Railway Protection Force, National Disaster Response Force, and the Indian Railways Institute of Disaster Management. And the third topic is about the International Criminal Court's recent verdict and about the frequent crisis region in news, that is Darfur region in Western Sudan. And the fourth topic is about the Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana. And the fifth topic is about the prelims focus, where we discuss various topics which are very relevant for our UPSC prelims preparation in a short and quick manner. This news article taken from The Hindu is about the recent awarding of Nobel Prize in the field of physiology or medicine. And the theme under which the this year Nobel Prize for the field of medicine or physiology has been provided, that is decoding the immune system's self-control mechanism. And the award has been awarded to Mary E. Bucknow of USA, Fred Ramsdell of USA, and Shimon Sakuguchi of Japan. So these are all the personalities who has been awarded for this year Nobel Prize on the field of physiology or medicine. So this needs to be noted personalities for not only for our UPSC prelims preparation, it also been important for other government examinations. And their discovery of regulatory T cells, or known as Tregs, which will also be considered as the security guards of our immune system that prevents immune cells from attacking our own body. So this will be the primary discovery by these personalities which made to provided with this award of Nobel Prize. And their finding or their discovery has explained how the immune system distinguishes between foreign invaders or the foreign elements which invades into the body to whenever the foreign element invades into the body will turn on the immune system to make it in an offensive manner to attack and destroy that foreign element. So it is the primary functioning of the immune system. And the second thing, that is the body's own cell. So it has to distinguish between its own cell, body's own cell. So this will be the primary discovery made by the scientist, that the regulatory T cells has the process or the involving in the procedure to safeguard its own immune system, body's own immune system from the foreign elements. And this discovery has revolutionized understanding of autoimmune disease, cancer therapy, as well as the organ transplantation. And what are the key scientific discoveries? The main concept or the main underlining factor under which this award has been provided, that is involving the peripheral immune tolerance, that is the body's mechanism to prevent the immune system from turning against its own cells, that the cells or the immune system needs to aware and to distinguish between its own cells against the foreign invaders will be the primary functioning of this peripheral immune tolerance. And this is the basis under which the T cells or the regulatory T cells discovery will be very important. And the first discovery of this regulatory T cells was founded in the year of 1995 by Shimon Sakuguchi, a new class of immune cell called as the regulatory T cells, that is Tregs, for which suppresses the self-destructive immune reactions. So Shimon Sakuguchi has discovered in the year of 1995 that the T cells will be the regulatory T cells, that is Tregs, will be the primary cells which suppresses the self-destructive immune reactions. And the second discovery was happened in the year of 2001 by the Mary Bucknow and Fred Ramsdell, who discovered the separate gene known as FOXP3 gene. So this is also important to note from the UPSC prelims point of view, that there may be a possibility of question asking regarding the in recently the FOXP3 gene was recently in news. It is related to which of the following? So we need to note that this discovery of FOXP3 gene by Mary Burknow and Fred Ramsdell is related to the immune system, that is peripheral immune tolerance of body, which is primarily responsible for the development and functions of Tregs, that is the regulatory T cells. And the third is the link which created between the first discovery and the second discovery, which was happened in the year of 2003, that the Sakugachi has proved the FOX3P gene will be the governing mechanism, or will establish the governing mechanism for regulatory T cells and confirming their role in maintaining immune tolerance. And what are the resulting insights which has to be taken from the recent discovery? Is that the breakdown of this system will lead to study of autoimmune disease type 1 diabetes, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, and the IPEX syndrome. So these are all to be noted from the UPSC prelims point of view, and it will create a great insight over this disease under this discovery. And the applications of this discovery can be of various fields, that it targets the targeting of this regulatory T cells will also enhance the cancer immunity, which will be very easy for the targeting of cancer cells by the immune system itself and lifting the suppression. And it also has the application over the strengthening of T cells, that is regulatory T cells, to create treatment for autoimmune diseases, and also prevent the transplant rejections. So these are all the applications that can also be possibly asked in our UPSC prelims. And we also has to note about the white blood cells, which is also primarily involving in the destruction or the fighting against the foreign invading elements. That this white blood cells is also known as leukocytes, are responsible for protecting our body from infections. As a part of our immune system, white blood cells circulate in our body and responds to injury or illness. And there is various types of white blood cells present in our body, that are neutrophils, monocytes, eosinophils, lymphocytes, and basophils, and each having their own peculiar nature and their way of approaching to the foreign element and to fight against the infections. And with respect to the immune system, we have the various type of T cells, which will be the primary cells involving our immune system, or basic structure of our immune system, that is the T cells. The first T cell is based on the thymus derived, which is based which will be the recognizing and destroying the infected or abnormal cell. So this T cell from this thymus region will be the one who recognize and destroy, involving in the destruction of abnormal cells. And it also has the subclassification under this T cells, and they are: first is helper T cells, also known as CD4 plus, which coordinates our immune response, and the second is the cytotoxic T cells, or CD8 plus, which directly kills the infected cells. And the third is the discovery of regulatory T cells, or Tregs, which suppresses the overactive immune response and maintains self-tolerance, and it also creates a regulation between the immune system to act against our own body's cells. And the fourth is the B cells, or bone marrow derived cells, which produces the antibodies to neutralize pathogens. And the last one is the macrophages, or neutrophils, which acts as the suicide cells, or which engulfs the foreign element and destroy the pathogens, and acts as a phagocytosis, which involves in the process of phagocytosis. And what is immune tolerance? Immune tolerance is preventing the body's defense system from attacking its own tissues. The subclassification of immune tolerance involves central tolerance and peripheral tolerance, and central tolerance will occur in thymus region, that is we have discussed in the earlier topic, that is T cells which derives from the thymus, which will be involving in the destruction of self-reactive T cells. And the peripheral tolerance involves the controlled or regulating bodies of T cells or Tregs with respect to the body tissues. And we also have to have a quick overview about the Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine. It was established by Alfred Nobel in 1895, and the first award has been provided in the year of 1901, and it has been administered currently by the Nobel Assembly at Karolinska Institute of Sweden. And this has been awarded in the field of discovery into the great significance in field of physiology or medicine, and the prize amount for this year will be 11 million Swedish kronor, which is the currency of Sweden, which is equivalent to the Indian rupees of 1.03 crores. And recently the Nobel Prize in the field of physiology or medicine will be focusing more on gene editing, mRNA vaccines, and circadian rhythm, etc. So UPSC is also focusing more on this field, such as gene editing, CRISPR, that is also a previous year question which was asked in the previous year, and mRNA vaccine also a previous year question, and circadian rhythm will be a probable question, and this year regulatory T cells will be the probable UPSC prelims question. So we need to focus us more on the discovery and the relevance with respect to the UPSC. And moving to the prelims practice question, what is the primary function of regulatory T cells discovered by the 2025 Nobel Prize winners in the medicine? They attack and destroy. Option A, they attack and destroy foreign bacteria and viruses. Option B, they help produce antibodies in the body. Option C, they prevent the immune system from attacking the body's own cells. And option D, they increase inflammation during infections. So what is the primary function that we have discussed in the previous slide? And the discovery of the regulatory T cells is to prevent the immune system from attacking the body's own cell will be the correct answer. So the answer will be option C. So correct. With this, we move to the next article. This news article taken from the Press Information Bureau is about the Memorandum of Understanding has been signed between Railway Protection Force, National Disaster Response Force, and the Indian Railways Institute of Disaster Management. And what is the context behind this news? That the Memorandum of Understanding has been signed between these bodies at Rail Bhavan at New Delhi on October 2025, and the primary aim of signing this Memorandum of Understanding is to strengthen the railway disaster response on accessing or focus more over the golden hour. So what is golden hour? Which is the first 60 minutes or from the occurrence of accident or disaster will be considered as the golden hour. And this Memorandum of Understanding between these bodies has been signed to establish a joint operational framework, and also involving standard drills, and also has the provision of 3-stage training process for better and faster coordinated rescue operations. And what are all the key objectives based on which the Memorandum of Understanding has been signed between these bodies is to have focuses more on the golden hour response. So this golden hour will be very crucial for involving in any type of rescue or any disaster management activities. So this access to this golden hour will be very crucial, and the action need to be taken in a swift manner. So the key objective is to have the rapid access to this golden hour will be discussed, and the triage, that is the preliminary assessment conducted over the patient or the casualties for better assessing the situation as well as the need of treatment on an urgent basis has to be assessed, and the evacuation process to save lives, which are all to be discussed under the golden hour response. And the other key objective is to have an integrated command, which is also important to have a coordination between these bodies involving in this memorandum of understanding. So to get a overall coordinated result, there needs a common standard operating procedure, which is very crucial for the better coordination and the integration of these bodies information. And it also involves radio protocols and joint drill activities. And the third objective is to have a railway specific first response. So who are all the personals of the railway protection force, or the first personnel who involved in the process of rescuing after the occurrence of disaster. So the railway protection force has been already expertised and trained for confined space and trackside rescues, all to be discussed under this or involved in this memorandum of understanding. And the standardized protocol will be devised by Indian Railways Institute of Disaster Management to develop a uniform coach extraction and casualty handling procedures. So this IRIDM, that is Indian Railways Institute of Disaster Management, will be the body to establish a uniform platform for the standard operating procedure, under which the Railway Protection Force and the National Disaster Response Force will be coordinating and integrating to have a better coordination between the disaster response. And this memorandum also has separate individual roles, and the first body, that is the Railway Protection Force, has the specific role of coordinating, which will be the nodal agency for the coordination of disaster response. And it will be the first to have the ground response, to provide the ground response on that golden hour. And it also has to manage the crowd, which was to be provided on the time of occurrence of disaster. And the second body is the National Disaster Response Force, which has the specific role to have a rescue operation on the specialized areas. And it also been an expertise in the field of field training. So it also has the expertise in the equipment handling. So it involves in the further process of rescuing. And the third body is that the Indian Railways Institute of Disaster Management will be the body, as we discussed earlier, will be the primary body to design and develop a standard operating procedure upon which the National Disaster Response Force and the Railway Protection Force will act for the disaster. And it also has the role of documenting the disaster, as well as evaluating the procedures, and as well as the disasters devastations happened. And the advanced training mechanism will be under the coordination of this Indian Railways Institute of Disaster Management. And we also have to note about the institute which involves in this memorandum of understanding. The first is the Railway Protection Force. It is a statutory force which got established under the Railway Protection Force Act of 1957, which got amended in the year of 1985, which functioning under the Ministry of Railways, which primarily focuses on the protection of railway property and passengers. And the second body is National Disaster Response Force, which formed under the Section 44 of Disaster Management Act of 2005. And these are all the important facts that need to be noted from the UPSC prelims point of view. And this National Disaster Response Force works under the Ministry of Home Affairs, and which involves the composition of various forces such as BSF Border Security Force, Central Reserve Police Force, Indo-Tibetan Border Police, and Central Industrial Security Force, and Sastra Seema Bal. So these are all the forces that involves in the process of National Disaster Response Force. And the third body is the Indian Railways Institute of Disaster Management, which is being located in the Bangalore and functions under the Ministry of Railways, which conducts the exact simulation and research based disaster management training. So these are all the important things. and the strategic significance associated with the recent signing of this memorandum of understanding between these bodies is to enhance the interagency coordination during railway disasters and build a scalable national disaster response model. So it will be a viable thing to have a integrated and coordinated approach between these bodies to have a scalable national disaster response model and reduce the response time. As we discussed that the golden hour is very important and crucial, so it will also reduces the response time and improve safety and resilience in railway operations, and it also promotes the capacity building and standardization across the agencies. And moving to the practice question, with reference to India's disaster response framework, consider the following statement. The first statement: the Railway Protection Force operates under the Ministry of Home Affairs and is responsible for disaster response coordination on railway premises. The second statement: the National Disaster Response Force was constituted under the Disaster Management Act of 2005 and operates under the Ministry of Home Affairs. The third statement: the Indian Railways Institute of Disaster Management functions under the Ministry of Railways and focuses on capacity building and simulation based disaster training. Which of the statements given above is are correct? So in this question they have asked about the correct statement. With respect to the first statement, it was incorrect because the Railway Protection Force is a statutory body or the statutory force established under the Railways Protection Force Act of 1952. So the sorry, I forgot the year. So the Railway Protection Force is a statutory body. So it won't functions under the Ministry of Home Affairs. It functions under the Ministry of Railways. So the first statement was incorrect. So by eliminating the first statement, we can easily arrive at the answer. So but we have to check about the second and third statement. The second and third statement is a correct statement because the National Disaster Response Force as well as the Indian Railways Institute of Disaster Management functions under the Ministry of Railways, and this NDRF will be the constituted under the National Disaster Management Act of 2005 is correct statement, and the Indian Railways Institute of Disaster Management will be the body to involve in the simulation based and research based disaster training is also correct. So the third statement is also correct. So answer will be 2 and 3. Yes. With this we move to the next article. This news article taken from The Hindu is about the recent verdict provided by the International Criminal Court on the militant group leader who charged against various war crime activities from the Darfur region, and this Darfur region was yet again in news because of the major humanitarian crisis exists on that area since 2000s. And what is the context is that the International Criminal Court has charged and given its verdict towards a militant group leader who accused of involving in various war crimes, and it also been categorized as the crime against humanity, and he is also charged of committing crimes during the Darfur conflict emerged in the Sudan region in the early 2000s. And what are the key points to take away from this news is that the Darfur conflict, which was a conflict between the ethnic African rebel groups who revolted against the Arab dominated Sudanese government, accusing it of marginalization. So this Darfur region is of West Sudan region and contains various ethnic African rebel groups which was frequently in conflict with the Arab dominated Sudanese government, which is the key point for the emergence of the conflict on that region. And the Sudanese government has been involving in the usage of this Janjaweed militia. So using this Janjaweed militia, the Sudanese government has involved in a campaign known as Scorched Earth campaign. So this is also very important, and in the recent International Criminal Court's verdict, which also reinforces the accountability for individual responsibility, who is involving in the war crimes even after decades. So the happening of that conflict emerged in the year of 2000s. So it has given its verdict on 2025, which makes the individual accountable and makes them to responsible for the crimes or the activities of violence that they involved at that time. And what is the we have to know about the international criminal codes basics. So which is also very important, that it has been established under the Rome Statute of 1998, which is the basic foundation for the establishment of this international criminal code, which came into force in the year of 2002 alone. So it has been constituted based on the Rome Statute of 1988, but it came into force only in the year of 2002, and it has been headquartered in Hague of Netherlands, and the jurisdiction of this international criminal court will be exclusively of individuals. So it tries individuals that who are involving in the activities such as genocides, crime against humanity, and war crimes and crime of aggression. So this international criminal court will focus more on individuals and tries the individual to get convicted on the basis of the activities of violence that they involve. And the membership, currently it has 124 member states which are being a part of this international criminal code as of 2025. And with respect to the India status, India is not a member of this international criminal code, as India cites concern towards the sovereignty which got affected, and the potential political misuse of this international criminal code will be cited as a reason for the India's exclusion from this membership. And the other thing we need to note that is the prosecution progress or the process. It has conducted the investigations, and it has been initiated by the state party. It can be initiated by a state party or the Council of United Nations Security Council, and it also has been involving in the prosecution process based on the International Criminal Court prosecutors with the prior approval, that is pre-trial chamber approval. And there is a peculiar feature on the principle involving in the process of this jurisdiction, is that the international criminal code has a complementarity principle, that is that this body act only when national courts are unwilling or unable to prosecute crimes. So they may not be able to take action against such crime activities or violence in that region. So on that time they will approach this international criminal court to try individuals. So on that basis the international criminal court will try and investigate and give the verdict on the basis. And with respect to the United Nations link, international criminal court is independent of the United Nations organization, but it can act on the basis of the referrals given by the United Nations Security Council. As it happens in the Darfur conflict of 2005, it was moved based on the United Nations Security Council's resolution on 1593. And there is a stark differentiation or distinguishing factors between the International Criminal Court and International Court of Justice that we have to note from the UPSC point of view, that the International Criminal Court, that is ICC, has been established based on the Rome Statute of 1988, but the ICJ has been established based on the Charter of the United Nations of 1945, and it came to the ICC came into existence in 2002, and the ICJ came into existence in 1945. And both the ICC, International Criminal Court, and the International Court of Justice headquartered at the Hague of Netherlands. So this is the basic thing we need to note that. And the type of court, that is the basis or the operation jurisdiction of this courts belong to the International Criminal Court will try only on the individuals, that it based on the criminal activities or the crime activities that the individual involved. But the International Court of Justice involved in the dispute arose between the states, who is the stakeholders of this International Court of Justice. So it tries to resolve the disputes arose between the state, as it is a civil court. And the membership, the International Criminal Court, as we discussed earlier, it has 124 nations or countries. Not all the United Nations members are party to the Rome Statute. So who are all not involving in the United Nations members will not be a part of this International Criminal Court. And with respect to the International Court of Justice membership, all the United Nations members will be automatically be a party to the International Court of Justice statute. So this is the important thing that we need to note that. And the International Criminal Court's jurisdiction or the verdicts are binding on the individuals and states who are being a part of this International Criminal Court, but it won't be a binding one on the non-party members who are not a part of this International Criminal Court. And with respect to the primary function of this in ICC and ICJ, it prosecutes majorly on individuals who involving in serious international crimes such as genocides, war crimes, crime against humanity, crime of aggression. And the primary aim or the primary function of the International Court of Justice is to settle legal disputes between states and give advisory opinions on legal questions referred by United Nations bodies. And with respect to the jurisdiction, as we discussed earlier, the International Criminal Court will be of individuals exclusively, not involving any states. And with respect to the International Court of Justice, it is states only, not the individuals. And the relationship with the UN, it is independent of the, that is, the International Criminal Court is independent of United Nations, but may receive referral from the United Nations Security Council, as we discussed the previous example from the Darfur conflict. And with respect to this International Court of Justice, the primary judicial organ of the United Nations. And we also have to note about the region geographical features of this Darfur region, as it is previous year question. It has been asked in the UPSC prelims of 2014. So apart from this Darfur region, we need to note about the geographical features as well as the location of the Sudan. So this Darfur region will be found on the western part of this Sudan. Sudan's capital is Khartoum, and here we can see the Darfur region in that western side, and it has been bordered by Libya, Chad, and Central African Republic. So we also have to note about the bordering states of Sudan, that is Egypt, Libya, Chad, Central African Republic, South Sudan, and Ethiopia and Eritrea. These are all the bordering nations between found along the borders of Sudan, and it has also been bordered by Red Sea. So these are all the important facts that need to be noted from the UPSC prelims point of view. And apart from that, it has the geographical features of Sahara in the northernmost part, and it also has the Libyan desert, and also the Nile river flows through the Sudan in that region. So with this, we move to the practice question section. And as I discussed that there is a previous year question which was asked in the year of 2014, that is, consider the following pairs: region often in use and the country, which is the first is Chechnya, Russian Federation, Darfur, Mali, Swat Valley, Iraq. Which of the above pairs is or correctly matched? And they have asked about the correct statement. So this type of question can be reflected in the UPSC 2026 prelims too. So we need to note about the locations or the regions which was frequently in use or frequently under specific change or involving in humanitarian crisis or earthquake activity. So we need to note that this Chechnya is in Russian Federation at that time. So this Chechnya is matched correctly with the Russian Federation is correct, but Darfur, as we discussed, it is not belongs to Mali, so it belongs to Sudan. So the second was incorrect. By eliminating the second, option B and D can be eliminated. So we have only option A and option C, and the Swat Valley is belonging to the Pakistan region, not the Iraq. So this is also an incorrect. So we can easily eliminate 3. So if we know that the Swat Valley is not belonging to the Iraq region, we can easily arrive at the answer that option A is the correct answer. Yes. With this, we move to the next topic. This news article is also taken from the Press Information Bureau, and it is about the scheme known as the Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana. And this news article will be of morely and self-explanatory nature. So let's get a quick overview of the scheme in a quick manner. And what is in news, because the Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana was launched in the year of 2015 under the National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture, has become a key national program to promote organic farming across India. So this year will be marking the decennial year of this introduction of this Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana from its inauguration. And this Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana primarily focuses on the sustainable agriculture through the protection of organic farming mechanisms across India. As of January 2025, rupees 2265.6 86 crore has been released from the under this scheme, and which also covers 15 lakhs of hectares of land, and 52,289 clusters has been covered, and it also has been a beneficial scheme for over 25.3 lakh farmers. And the scheme also supports organic cultivation through providing financial aid, providing certifications and market linkaging for better promotion of their organic produce, and also involving in the process of training and skilling the farmers to make the organic produce into an economic value, and it also which will eventually help the farmers to reduce the chemical dependency, as well as improving the soil health, and to have a better access to the markets for their organic produce. And the primary objective of this Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana is to promote eco-friendly and chemical-free farming that involves and to improve the soil health, enhances income of the farmers, ensure food safety, as well as supporting the sustainable rural livelihoods of farmers and other which are associated by the organic produce. And what is the key feature that involves in this scheme is that the cluster based organic farming, which involving the farmers are to be grouped into clusters of 20 hectares each. So the farmers has been categorized or segregated into clusters of 20 hectares each, which encourages the collective farming mechanism and to have a coordination between them, which will eventually lead to the reduction in cost as well as knowledge sharing between them. And this cluster based organic farming will also promote the low cost natural farming practices and also increases the efficient usage of resources. And this scheme of Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana will be providing financial assistance in the down the line of 3 years per hectare, involving on-farm or off-farm activities or inputs by the mechanism of providing financial aid through direct benefit transfer of amount rupees 15,000, and marketing, packaging and branding needs to be provided the financial assistance of rupees 4,500, and certification residue and residue analysis of for this process that the financial aid will be of rupees 3,000, and training and capacity building will be provided with the financial aid of rupees 9,000 for per hectare in the 3 year down the line. And the implementation framework of this Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana will be of the following: that the farmers will apply via regional councils, and this regional council will compile the annual action plan and to forward it to the state government, and via the state government it will be forwarded to the Ministry of Agriculture, and Farmer Welfare will be the nodal agency, which is also the monitoring agency for providing the financial assistance. This from this Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare will dispatch or release the fund to the farmers through the state government and through the regional council, and it will also reach the farmers in the end through direct benefit transfer. And what is this organic certification system involved in this Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana? It involves the parties which needs to be certified under this Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana to certify it as a organic produce. The third party certification will be provided by the National Program on Organic Farming, which will be implemented by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, which give the certification of third party certification to make the organic produce to export in a global level. So it meet out the global export compliances. So when the organic produce is to be certified under this third party certification under the National Program on Organic Produce, this Ministry of Commerce and Industry will produce this certificate, which makes the organic produce to be qualified for the exporting to the global level. And the participatory guarantee scheme, which is PGS India, will be this certificate will be provided and implemented by the Ministry of Agriculture, which is a community based certification and affordable domestic certification, which makes the participatory farming as well as the cluster based organic farming were more viable and cohesive one. And the large area certification will be provided or implemented by the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare since the 2020 to 2021, which will be involving a quite quick certification process for the region with no chemical farming. So whenever an area which was vastly under not the influence of any chemical, the cultivation process, this area has to be certified by the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare under this large area certification. So it will be very helpful for the tribal belts and islands to make the organic produce a more efficient one. And what are the key achievements? That the rupees 2265.86 crore has been released under this scheme till 2025 Jan, and 15 lakh hectares under the organic farming activity will be covered, and 52,289 clusters has been formed under this organic farming clusters, and 25.3 lakh farmers are benefited under this Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana, and through the large area certification has been also extended to tribal and island region, which will be very significant. That involves the 14,491 hectares of land in Nicobar Island, 2,700 hectares of land in Lakshadweep, and 60,000 hectares in Sikkim will also be the beneficiary under this large area certification, which will be very less in influence to the influence of chemical fertilizers. So this certification will make the organic produce a more trustable product. And we also has to note about the Jaivik Kheti portal, which is associated with this Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana, which will be a knowledge enhancing and e-commerce portal under the government of India for the farmers, upon which the farmers can trade their organic produce. And under this Jaivik Kheti portal, 6.23 lakh farmers will be the beneficiaries, will get benefited, and 19,016 local groups also get benefited under this portal, and the buyers has been registered under this portal will be around 8,676, which will be a very significant in number. And it also enables the farmer to consumer direct contact of marketing their product and selling their product to the consumers directly by the farmers, will enable or will eliminate the intermediaries who involved in the brokerage or other commissions, which will help the farmers to increase their income level. And this Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana will be also in integration with other schemes, such as it has been linked with the National Mission on Natural Farming, which is also important, and so it got supported under the Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, RKVY for the year of 2024 to 25, and it also promotes the Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative and the Digital India goal through market linkages and digitization. So these are all the important things that need to be noted from the UPSC prelims point of view, that this scheme will be more important for our UPSC prelims, and the associated scheme is also very important, so kindly note of it. And it also has the broader significance that it reduces the dependency on chemical fertilizers, as we also promoting in the event of promoting the organic farming, the dependence over the chemical fertilizers will eventually reduce, and also the dependence over the pesticides, and it also enhances the soil fertility and biodiversity and climate resilient activities, and it strengthens the farmers income, as it directly makes the farmers to consumer connect. It will increase the farmers income and ensures the safe organic food for consumers, and it also encourages the local entrepreneurship in organic inputs. So by promoting the organic inputs to the farmers will create a local entrepreneurship, and the certification will create a stimulus for this process, and the processing also very important to make involved in this organic produce of agriculture. Moving to the mains practice question, discuss how promoting organic farming through schemes like Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana contributes to the sustainable agriculture and rural income security in India. So we have adequately discussed about the themes or the necessity that the question asked in the previous section. So kindly take this question and answer it in the comment section given below. We will be evaluating in the comment section and give the feedback in the comment section itself. With this, we move to the next topic. And coming to the prelims focus, the first topic is about the personality news. Sri Subramanya Siva is in news because our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has paid tribute to Sri Subramanya Siva on his birth anniversary. And who is Subramanya Siva? He is an eminent writer, Tamil patriotic poet, and a staunch freedom fighter, and he actively involved in the freedom struggle through the inspiration given by the speech of Sri Tahur Khan of Arya Samaj in the year of 1906 at Trivandrum. And Subramanya Siva, born on 4th of October 1884 at Vatlagundu, which is in erstwhile Madurai district of Tamil Nadu. And he also established a notable Samaj known as the Dharma Paribalana Samaj, which is very important for our UPSC prelims preparation. This can be asked in our UPSC prelims, and this Dharma Paribalana Samaj has been established in the year of 1907 at Trivandrum. So these are all the important facts, and the other literary works, notable literary works of Sri Subramanya Siva are Ramanuja Vijayam and Madhava Vijayam. So we need to note that these are all the important facts from the UPSC prelims point of view. We need to note that, and apart from this thing, he is the first person to get arrested by the British rulers on the erstwhile Madras province on sedition charges. So this can also be asked in our UPSC prelims, and he has also established a magazine, which is a monthly magazine known as Jnana Bhanu, which is also important. And other notable feature or the other important thing we need to note that is that in the year of 1921, he tries to establish or he tried to construct a temple for Bharata Mata. So these are all the important facts. Kindly note that. And coming to the next topic is the Operation DigiScrap, which is also very important for our UPSC preparation, that it can be asked in the UPSC prelims like Operation DigiScrap is relevant to which of the following. So it can also be reflected in the technical manner, or it can be asked in a normative manner. This Operation DigiScrap is conducted by the Directorate of Revenue Intelligence in Mumbai, which sees recently the consignment valued at approximately rupees 23 crores of e-waste. So this Operation DigiScrap is relevant to e-waste or e-waste movement. So it has been conducted by Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, which seized under the section called as Section 110 of Customs Act, which monitors or which scrutinize the e-waste movement between the one area to another of Customs Act of 1962. And according to this Operation DigiScrap, import of old or used electronic components relevant to this Operation DigiScrap, import of old and used electronic components is prohibited under which of the following rules? So this can also be asked. So what are all the rules or acts which monitors and comes under this e-waste management or e-waste import or export or the transboundary movement of e-waste or Foreign Trade Policies Act of 2023, E-Waste Management Rules of 2022, Electronics and IT Goods Compulsory Registration Order of 2021, which are all the rules and acts which monitors the movement of e-waste between boundaries. And the primary aim of establishing these rules and acts is to prevent the public health hazards caused by this e-waste, and it also creates environmental damage to prohibit the environmental damage and unfair threats to the domestic electronic manufacturing sector. So this is very important point of view from the UPSC, that unfair threats to the domestic electronic manufacturing sector is to be noted for our UPSC prelims. And moving to the next topic is about the Namo 1 Biodiversity Park, which is being first established in the Rajasthan's Alwar district, which was recently inaugurated. And primary aim of this establishment of this Namo 1 Biodiversity Park is to enhance local greenery and to contribute to the cleaner air, which also promotes environmental awareness among the visitors. So it will also create a moral persuasion among the stakeholders or the visitors who visiting this park to get involved into the conservation of environment, which is the primary aim of this establishment of this Namo 1 Biodiversity Park. And what makes it more significant is that it marks an advancing Rajasthan's green infrastructure. So it will be a role model for other districts and other states to establish such infrastructures and to promote green infrastructure, strengthening India's broader commitment to biodiversity conservation and action taken towards the climate change. And moving to the next topic is about the KONKAN-2025 exercise, which is the first joint service exercise between His or Her Majesty Service Ship Prince of Wales and Indian Naval Ship of Vikrant in the Western Indian Ocean. And it is a bilateral exercise which is to be noted, and it will be conducted between Indian Navy and the Royal Navy of United Kingdom. And it contains two phases. One is sea phase and harbor phase. And the harbor phase consists of people-to-people interaction between the naval personnel and cross-decks visit by these personnel, and also has the involvement of sports fixtures and other cultural exchanges will be conducted in the phase of harbor phase. And moving to the sea phase, it has the complex maritime operational drills which focuses more on anti-air, anti-surface and anti-submarine warfare activities, which is to be which is the primary focus of this drill. And it also has the operation of flying operations and other seamanship evolutions. So these are all the things we need to note that. And primary objective of the conducting this Konkan exercise is to reaffirm the shared commitment of both the nations to ensuring secure, open and free seas on that region. And it also exemplifies the comprehensive strategic partnership which was conducted or which was established between India and UK, underlining the India's and UK's vision of 2025. So this comprehensive strategic partnership is also very important for our UPSC prelims preparation. And these technicalities, that is anti-air, anti-surface and anti-submarine warfare activities, are also conducted in the sea phase, is also very important for our UPSC prelims preparation. And moving to the practice question session with reference to the bilateral naval exercise, that is Konkan 2025, consider the following statement. It is the first statement is it is the first ever joint naval exercise between India and United Kingdom to feature both countries' aircraft carriers operating together. Second statement, the exercise focuses exclusively on anti-submarine warfare to enhance undersea domain awareness in the Indo-Pacific. Which of the above statements is are correct? So, with regarding the first statement, it was correct because it is the first ever joint naval exercise which showcases the aircraft carriers which operates between the both the nations involving in an exercise. Which, so the first statement was correct and the second statement was incorrect because it has a deceptive word known as the exclusively, which is incorrect because it is not exclusively involving anti-submarine warfare activities. As we discussed in the earlier slide, it involves both anti-air, anti-surface and anti-submarine warfare activities. So the second statement was incorrect. So the here we have asked about the correct statement to identify. So the answer will be option A, one only. With this, we came to the conclusion of this video. Hope you guys like the video. Please share your positive comments and suggestions in the comment section given below and share the video to your friends. And don't forget to click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon for receiving on-time notification. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for the day. Have a good day.